been, what, 3 weeks?
Feels like longer.
I do believe it's been about 3 weeks. Who wants to give us a story recap? Nice, as expected.
Bold of you to assume that in my old age now I have anywhere near the memory to do that.
I remember what happened.
All right, why don't you tell chat what happened, and then we'll. I'm gonna grab this cup of tea, and then we'll introduce ourselves.
Well, last time on The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, the crew was tracking down, what's his face? Enoch Drebber, right?
That's right.
And they got to his hideout, and there was this door that wouldn't open. They finally got it open, and there's this weird room that you can see now in the background here. And we did a deduction, one of those great deductions that Sholmes loves to do, where he, said that obvious time bomb in the middle of the floor was a fucking gravitational device. And then we had to tell him, no, you're dumb. So we did that, and we got the code to the safe that Drebber was hiding in, and then we got him, and we're talking to him like right now. And that's the story so far.
I feel like the bomb almost exploded on us. Did it almost explode on us?
No, it's diffused.
No, it definitely almost exploded on us.
I mean, it's still diffused, so it doesn't matter. We are safe. Oh, yeah. Dragon Quest 14. Didn't they just make 11?
Okay, hey, so could you repeat that? I couldn't hear you. I was all the way Nah, just kidding. Anyway, good rundown. Heckin' right. Let us introduce the cast of the voice acting debauchery. They're here. Their back probably hurts. And their name is Oni Heart.
Hey, what's up? It's me, Oni. I've been in the Street Fighter 6 / Omega Strikers jail recently. So, yeah, I kind of took a little bit of a break from streaming. I didn't announce it either, but I'm going to try to get back to it. I'm going to be streaming Omega Strikers and Street Fighter 6 exclusively up until Final Fantasy 16 comes out.
Oh, yeah. That's the way to be.
Currently trying to get to the top 500 in Omega Strikers so I can apply for the invitational tournament.
Hey, oh, that'll be dope.
Currently, I'm in the top 1,000 players in North America, so I just got to grind a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm not surprised by that.
What a twist.
Speaking of grinding it real good, well, Sharky.
I was not aware I had that talent, but thank you. Anyway, since our last adventure, I'm still in Florida and I am very old. So I'm 40 now. If you can believe that shit.
Wild.
Otherwise, yeah, I also have to make the time to get back to cracking up on my stream because it's been a couple of weeks. But yeah, when last we meet, we were doing anime games because reasons. And it's time to have some fun and talk about some much more interesting people, like the rest of our cast.
Once went by the moniker Neil and Bob. It's Chris Rees.
too young. Oh, that even.
Crash!
So? Wow. Why?
Oh, your
Have you
volume's just hella
considered
low.
Introducing or introducing yourself.
Oh, do you want it this high or
Yeah.
this high?
That's fine. That's perfect. I got it on my end.
Oh, okay. I was just telling you that I was too young for that reference.
Neil and Bob? Really?
Probably not.
He knows them by their near descendants, Jay and
It's-
Silent Bob.
It's a fellatio joke. Anyway, carry on.
Oh.
My name is Chris Rees. I lead the raid group Blitz on Final Fantasy XIV. We just started the final tier of the expansion. I'm also doing some temporary content, doing the Hardcore League and Dungeons and Dragons Online. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. What class you playing?
I am a rogue bard warlock hybrid.
Rogue Bard's good combo.
Yeah, and then the warlock is the majority of the build, and it's just it's an aura warlock. So basically, I'm going to be indestructible in about 3 levels.
Winning.
Yep.
Speaking of wizards, they put on their wizard robe and hat. It's Shy.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say much that I run wizards is usually rogue type characters, but hi, I'm Shy. I play video games. I stream video games most of the time with the wonderful, amazing bunny standing right next to me here. Lately, I've been doing plenty of Final Fantasy XIV with my Do Everything run. I have started getting back into Stardew Valley and potentially going to try and take another crack at Battle Chef Brigade. But yeah, you might also know my channel for the voice acting of visual novels that we do. We just finished up The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog on Saturday and had a lot of fun doing it. That's going on. Voice acting on my channel is going on a little bit of a hiatus because a good number of our people are taking some well-deserved vacation days. But yeah, we hope to bring that back soon with a couple of other projects.
Nice. And I've seen their character naked more often than probably anyone on the internet. It's Lania.
Hey.
Hey.
I'll have you know that my most recent art is fully clothed.
I was surprised by that.
I bet. I hope you're proud of me.
We're always proud of you, Lania.
Aww. Hi, I am Lania Kea. I play mostly RPGs. I do have some sponsored content coming up at the end of the week with Mask of the Rose from Fail Better Games,
Oh, nice.
which I'm super excited about. It releases on the 8th. Go wishlist it on Steam because that's important. Blah, 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 blah.
Nice. Good show.
Yeah. Thank you. I also am finishing up Star Ocean the Divine Force. I am playing a little bit of Hong Kong Railstar here and there. And what's the other thing I'm working on right now? Oh, Sonic Frontiers.
Nice.
Does it sound that I no longer know the name of Hong Kong Whale Tit because people have been memeing the name for so long?
No, it's fine.
You don't need to know the name of it.
I do have some interesting actual IRL news before we start.
Oh.
Those of you that have been following, SAG members approved strike authorization with a basically 98% yes vote. So it looks like the Screen Actors Guild is going to be striking alongside the Writers
Hell
Association. Yeah, that's pretty big. That would be like one of the biggest strikes in the past 50 years, I want to say. 50, 60 years. Cool.
If
Anyway.
there's anybody who really deserves being striked against, it's people like fucking Zaslav.
And James Corden. That guy sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks to our friends at Capcom. They pay their writers. Let's dive back in. Hans Dreber.
Someone had taken Gregsy from me.
That
Hey, feel free.
would be cool. Damn, I don't even remember which one I told. I think it was Chris, right?
Something's giving you a chuckle, has it, Dreber?
And I think that was you, right, Charlie?
Yeah, that was Sharpus.
My bad, I just forgot to stream. So sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? Yes, you did disarm that one.
What are you? That one? You mean...
Oh no, Dan, the strike is definitely happening. Man's just got bombs everywhere?
Wasn't expecting that.
So you're telling me that they've had that thing for like how many days and no one noticed the ticking? Whatever.
They're Scotland Yard's finest. Of course no one noticed the ticking.
True. It was an hour later that we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage of the Great Exhibition. Professor Harebrain's invention and all its secrets were blown away forever. As well as about 57 other people. All right, great work tonight, everybody. Good job. Let's call it here.
Alright. Hi, I'm Lonnie Akea. I think... Oh.
Well, there goes a bunch of evidence that we could have used.
Yeah, right. Now we get to play circumstantial.
24th October, 9:11 a.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber.
Legalized ranch.
The dressing?
No, criminalized ranch dressing. Come at me.
Alright, he's still you, Chris.
Oh, I do not remember this voice.
Thanks for the follows.
Good morning to you, Mr. Narhoda.
Perfect.
Good morning, Professor. Ready for today's proceedings? Oh, that's cool. Thanks, Controller.
I hope so. I should be. Even I, with nothing left to.
Good morning, my dear fellows.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're here. I thought you were off attending to getting your herpes treated.
Why, naturally, a true gentleman stands shoulder to shoulder with his friends in battle at all times.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'll see you later then. Now, Professor, we really need you to remain calm in the courtroom today.
Shy.
Cool range.
Yeah. Unless, I know that I think it's Chris who's particularly attached to Susato.
I can't switch between these two though, and Shy should have his part.
Yeah,
So-
okay.
Yes. Do try your hardest not to enter the witness stand uninvited again.
Yeah, if you do that again, we're gonna tase you.
Again.
My dear fellows, I must interject.
Oh, you're still here, Mr. Sholmes. Can I help you?
Surely you've overlooked some praise, have you not? To be cast in my direction. Hmm? Yeah?
Are you fishing for a compliment right now? I'm
Yes.
kind of busy. Wow,
Must I spell it out? I, the great Sherlock Sholmes, the greatest detective of worldwide acclamation, arose at some ungodly hour to be here now. First thing in the morning, a miracle you
11
must
a.m.
agree.
It's 11 a.m.
yeah, it's 11 a.m. Well,
It's,
if I must agree, then
as you know, my sleep is quite impregnable. Iris had to employ a full gamut of tactics. She pulled the covers off, shook me, poked both cheeks, punched me and kicked me from the bed. Then she poured a boiling cup of her latest experimental blend on my face, and at last I was bestirred.
Oh my. Paris has been busy.
Iris doesn't have it in her to go that far. She's too nice.
I sense the spirit of a fellow scientist, one who relishes the infinite possibilities of blending tea.
I give it 3 weeks until some hipster tech bro lists that as like the only way to start your morning efficiently. Sounds like some
Just go to Adagio and use the code.
Get out of here.
something
Don't
better,
waste
Robert.
that tea.
I'm the one worthy of praise here, not Iris. This is my victory. Oh,
Any
shit.
guesses?
Is
I
it-
think it's
Is it mommy?
no, it's I think it's detective.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is.
It's Gregsy.
Oh, Inspector Gregson. Good morning. Where's your fish and chips? There it is.
Gregson, my dear fellow. Why the grim expression at this delightfully early hour?
Oh, it's because I had to see your face this early in the morning.
Well, touche. Are you going to take that insult lying down, Professor?
What? What? I don't know.
Poor professor.
Anyway, here's the paperwork you asked for.
What paperwork?
Ah, I took the liberty of requesting it yesterday.
Oh, great. I wonder what this could be. Sholmes, is this porn?
Maybe. I'm feeling it may prove useful.
You wouldn't believe the hoops I had to jump through just to get this brought out of the archives. It's the professor's autopsy report.
That mass murderers?
One sec. I just was alerted to something that I need to take care of in just a little bit. There we go. Dun, dun, There we go. You killed 5 members of the aristocracy.
He was found guilty in a closed trial 10 years ago now. It was all done under wraps. And he was quickly executed soon after the trial. It's all in here.
The killer's autopsy report has been entered into the court record. I don't know what to say. Thank you, Inspector.
Yes. Much obliged, Gregson.
Us lowly at the art are just doing what we can in the shadow of the great detective Sholmes, of course.
Well then, Professor Hairbrain, this is it. Today we're going to lay all this to rest at last.
I wish you the best of luck, Professor.
I suppose he'll be in there today, will he? Trevor.
Yes, we expect the prosecution to summon him as a witness.
I'm still amazed you managed to find him in just one day. I really owe you both so much.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll send you a bill.
Oh, I thought you said this was pro bono.
It's pro something.
He said it
Counsel
was pro bone.
and the defendant. The trial is about to resume. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once.
This is it then. The final chapter. Funny, my heart's racing a little.
This is only chapter 3.
True! I've never felt this before, actually. This strange foreboding. As if something is going to happen in this trial that I'm not ready for. But I can't let that distract me from the only thing that really matters. Getting audio glitch for Anima.
What the fuck was that?
What?
I mean,
The audio glitch for Anima.
Okay. That is
scared the
something that can happen in this trial that I am not prepared for.
That gave me a heart attack.
Please don't. That is very loud.
Finding the truth! And annoying Chris a little bit.
Well, I just don't need my headphones around.
I still think it's the second worst decision that Discord has made in less than a month.
Stepbrother, I'm lost.
True.
24th October, 9:30 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. And yes, it's a power that we should not have.
So who owns the judge today?
Quick. You go for the judge?
That puts me at 3 on the trial. We should try and give it to someone else.
Sharky, who do you have?
I'm not sure I've got anybody besides.
Sharky?
You're the
Sharky
judge
it
now.
is!
Grasp on
Old
becoming the
man
judge.
voice.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the public hearing of Albert Hairbrain, here present, who stands accused of murder. Are the counsels for the prosecution and defense ready to proceed?
The prosecution is ready, my lord.
The defense is ready, my lord. As promised, Lord Van Zeeks has his apprentice with him. His apprentice with memory loss. It might be my
yeah.
boyfriend.
That's a thing that we learned as well.
If I may, Lord Van Zeeks,
Yes, my lord.
there appears to be someone 1/8 your size and just like you next to you.
Ah, yes, my apprentice and assistant. The prosecution believes today's proceedings will see the complexity of this case rise considerably. I, therefore, instructed my assistant to attend to ensure the smooth running of the trial.
Oh, well now maybe we won't smash any glasses, huh? And the
Only
smooth...
Kazuma-san is allowed to have a sword in the courtroom.
True! And the smooth running of liquid refreshment by the look of it.
The way he holds himself, the way he moves. It couldn't be anyone else.
I know, I can feel it in my ovaries too, Susato. But he's still suffering from amnesia, so there's really nothing we can do at the moment.
I know, but this is so very hard.
I know, me too.
It would appear the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands of the court made yesterday. I understand you have successfully secured the engineer who disappeared from the scene on the day in question.
Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly.
Very good, very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it's quite hot up here with all these flames. You have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this courtroom today. I'm sure you will have nothing to do with any of our previous court cases. Are you ready to and willing to proceed?
I forgot who
I
did
think that one's me.
Of course, my lord. I'm sure we all understand the importance of doing our civic duty.
I do so despise deception and deceit. I find it very weird.
Yeah, what did this do?
To take a man's life with a conjuring trick, it is against the magician's code, not to mention the law.
Any fake scientist should feel the wrath of God, if you ask me.
We have to listen to what's on both sides of the fence. And then settle on one. That's it. That's it.
Wouldn't like this in my day. Wouldn't like this at all.
I don't even have to act for that. I can just be myself.
If all parties are ready to proceed, you may begin, Lord Van Zeeks.
Before I do, my lord, there is a report I must read to the court. Yesterday, at the Great Exhibition Grounds, the evidence of primary importance in this case. The super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine, which was installed on the experimentation stage, was deliberately destroyed in an explosion affected by an unknown person or persons.
It was what?
An explosion?
Why is your gun out?
My
Because
gun's
he's a cop.
always out, sir. You know this.
This is an outrage!
Murmur, murmur, murmur. Murmur, murmur, murmur.
Yes, I had heard this grave news yesterday. Scotland Yard submitted a report to my office in the evening. I read that the machine was blasted to smithers and the wreckage reduced to ashes in the burns.
I have here a photographic print of the scene, taken in the wake of the explosion. It shows what little remains of the machine.
Ah, yes. Terrible business.
He did it to destroy the evidence, didn't he?
That Enoch Drebber.
The court will take this evidence as print, counsel.
The post-explosion photograph has been entered into the court record.
Look at this graph.
Like yesterday afternoon, the protection afforded to the machine by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act was revoked. However, before a thorough investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. As such, this will become a very different trial.
Ah,
As it stands now, with no evidence on which to draw meaningful conclusions, the authenticity of the kinesis machine will remain forever in obscurity.
Indeed, a most unfortunate state of affairs.
However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was the result of the actions of the accused. Of that, we can be certain. For it was the accused himself who was operating the machine and who ultimately caused it.
objection. As Lord Van Zeeks rightly says, this is a very different trial now. The accused accepts responsibility for his part in the events that transpired. He acknowledged that Dr. Assman died as a result of the accident caused by his machine's malfunction. However, unbeknownst to the professor, he was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters.
Names, counsel, if you please.
The engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, and the victim himself, Dr. Odie Assman. So what exactly were these two men up to behind the defendant's back? The defense intends to expose that information, thus establishing the unequivocal innocence of the defendant.
Thank you, counsels. The positions of the prosecution and defense have been clearly stated. Lord Van Zeeks, summon your first witness, please. Roll for initiative.
At once, my lord. A 15.
Nice.
The prosecution calls the engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, to the stand. State your name and occupation for the court.
9. Enoch Drebber. Occupation. Pop and lock, I would say.
Oh, you too? I had exactly the same feeling.
Ellipses.
Your file indicates that you are currently being investigated in connection with another case. The theft of a waxwork model, is it? Extraordinary sounding business. but it has no bearing on this trial, I assure you. Cleave it from your mind.
You're familiar with the public experiment carried out at the Great Exhibition some days ago? The accused's super high voltage instantaneous kinesis demonstration.
Yes, you could say that. I'm aware of it. There was a terrible accident, wasn't there?
It was you, Mr. Drebber, who constructed the vast machine used in the experiment. Or so our investigations indicate. Can you confirm your involvement?
Yes, I constructed it, in precise accordance with the blueprints, but that's all.
And the court will be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine, I'm sure.
Ellipses. An amazing device, if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinesis a reality at last.
What?
Good gracious. Do you mean to say that the experiment was bona fide? Is that your belief, sir? Yes, that's very much my belief. Such a waste that it blew up.
Objection!
But we've already established the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate conjuring trick.
Objection!
You've established nothing of the sort.
I'm established my foot in your face.
All that was shown during yesterday's proceedings
Something like that.
is that the same outcome could have been produced by means of stage trickery. The defense merely proposed a method and demonstrated its feasibility. Nothing more.
What?
We've procrastinated long enough, I feel. Witness, you will now give your formal testimony about the machine that you constructed for the purpose of the demonstration at the Great Exhibition. Understood?
The kinesis machine.
I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago through Assman's introduction. He provided me with the blueprints, and I constructed the machine to his precise specifications. It was no trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have required a body double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin? All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads, and then crash head first into the crystal tower. Terrible accident, I grant you. Perhaps the science on the machine was built with flaws somehow.
There's already something I see that's out of place. A body double?
That goes without saying, surely. To give the impression that something is moved in reality, it hasn't. It's a basic conjuring principle. The deception cannot be achieved without substituting the original with the fake at some point in the performance. But would I be right in saying you haven't managed to establish anything along those lines?
Ugh.
Incidentally, the prosecution has already confirmed that Mr. Assman had no twin siblings.
It's my understanding that this witness is well versed in conjuring artfulness. But such talents do not indicate that he was actually able to accomplish what he claims. Namely, the construction of what by all accounts must be an extremely complex scientific machine. Whatever do you mean? Yesterday's proceedings brought the true nature of your past exploits to light, Mr. Drebber.
Indeed it did, my lord. As a swindler who preys on innocent scientists to elicit government grant money through conjuring know-how.
Yes, it's true that I possess considerable knowledge of stage magic. But crucially, my scientific knowledge more than matches that of any academic in the field.
Investigation of the witness's workshop attests to that claim, my lord. As evidence, the police found this Royal Society trophy for young talent in science there.
Yes, that's true. We spotted it there ourselves.
If a hypothesis is sound, it can always be forged into a physical manifestation, with sufficient skill. Though I may have sold the secrets of some deceptive wiles to sniveling, talentless scientists in the past. Would you therefore assert that the explosion of the machine was an unfortunate accident, or, of course, a deliberate act of murder carried out by misuse of the science?
Yeah, that's where most of the budget went.
Counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord.
I know I'm talking a lot to myself here at the moment. Does anyone of you want to pick up the judge while I do Drebber?
Alright.
Just calling it out now before we get to it.
So, you were already acquainted
Nah.
with... Go ahead.
Sure, I'll take the judge.
So you were already acquainted with Mr. Assman himself?
Not really. By chance, I'd seen his name mentioned in the papers, that's all. But I had no interest in his private parts. If he was an unscrupulous investor, it was no concern of mine. As long as people pay their bills, I take up my tools and construct what they ask for.
So why did Mr. Assman approach you in particular, then?
Who can say? I presume because my name is associated with excellence in engineering. My hand is made of clock.
Not to mention excellence in fraud.
Hard to gauge. But the point is, all I did was construct the machine according to the blueprints I was given.
In other words, the kinesis machine was built on solid scientific principles.
Yes, you might say that. Professor Airbrain certainly has a mind like no other.
It's clear that you have both scientific knowledge and knowledge of conjuring magic, however.
The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to handle whatever comes your way. But your implication is that I furnished the machine with some trickery, I think.
It's a possibility that we have to explore.
Unfortunately, though, the machine has been blown to Kingdom Come. So there's really nothing left to explore, is there?
It appears that the kinesis machine was fitted with a time explosive device of some kind.
And there's nothing left of that device either. Not a single shred of evidence remaining, I hear.
You must have planned all this from the outset.
But in any case, it's abundantly clear that the experiment couldn't have been a trick.
Of course, that's it. Mr. Assman was a twin.
Objection!
Perhaps my learned friend wasn't listening earlier. Mr. Assman had no twin siblings.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's been pretty wild, Chris.
There was no Mr. Boobman.
No, I heard you before, but the thread of hope hadn't quite left me.
The demonstration could have been a trick if there was somebody who looked sufficiently like the victim. But Dr. Scythe absolutely ruled that out as a possibility.
It is beyond question that the victim himself, Mr. Assman, did move from the stage to the Crystal Tower. The fingerprints found at the scene attest to that fact.
So it can't have been orchestrated using someone who looked identical to Mr. Assman then. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
Butter and toast. Oh, nothing. Just that the idea of someone who looked identical to the victim is playing on my mind. Alright. This is what I wanted to look at. Ah, look here, Miss Susato.
Oh yes, put it back in your pants, Mr. Naruhodo.
No, not that for once.
The board's broken, cracked and broken a little. I suppose because it fell from such a height.
Yes, from the height at which the balloon was flying, down into the crystal tower below. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters.
Leaving the man inside tragically dead.
Objection!
I thought so. We've examined the birdcage that crashed into the crystal tower ourselves. As you can see, the cage, which is a wooden construction, has sustained much damage in one particular spot.
Following the explosion, it fell some 30 feet into the glass of the Crystal Tower. That level of damage is to be expected, surely.
I agree. The damage itself is entirely understandable. What doesn't make sense is the location of that damage.
Exclaim.
All the breakages in the wood are at the base of the birdcage, not the top.
What you saying?
That's the opposite of where they should be.
Mm-hmm. That's right, my lord. The birdcage was at the scene. The birdcage that was at the scene is damaged at its base. So we have the reports of the birdcage falling headlong into the crystal tower, yet the damage is at the bottom. The only way to reconcile these two facts is to accept that there were two bird cages in play that day, which were at some point switched. Switched during what's a scientific experiment at all? Switched during what wasn't a scientific experiment at all, but an elaborate piece of stage trickery.
I like that only part of that "ga"
Was red, yeah.
highlighted. Yeah. I keep forgetting this is me.
Good gracious! Explain yourself, witness!
Well,
If we examine the facts, there's only one logical conclusion we can draw. The damage on the base of the birdcage clearly indicates that it crashed tail first into the tower.
Objection!
But multiple witnesses reports. Oh my god. But multiple witness reports claim it fell head first.
The birdcage materialized in the sky next to a balloon flying over the stage, following a spontaneous explosion. At an altitude of some 60 feet above ground level.
Which is approximately 18 meters.
It then proceeded to fall some 30 feet into the crystal tower in the ensuing deflagration. Witness reports amid such chaos are notoriously unreliable.
Objection!
But the victim's neck was broken.
Objection!
He plummeted 30 feet inside a heavy wooden cage. However he fell, it will be unsurprising to find one or two of his vertebrae crushed.
A riveting scientific analysis of events from the prosecution here. Thought to be even more rigorous, you would have to say it was only one vertebra, actually.
He wasn't quiet for long.
I find it hard to see what's motivating Lord Vinceeks. This witness is clearly a swindler, and one who deceived a personal friend of his.
If you're going to establish this deception, do it right.
Sorry?
I feel like that's the undertone here.
Ah yes, and there's one more point. The defense appears to have forgotten. Obviously wasn't a trick, as a certain truth very plainly demonstrates.
What?
It seems to me that the cross-examination had better continue until we resolve this matter. Mr. Dribble, you will amend your testimony with details of this truth.
Of course, we must treat the matter scientifically after all. After all,
Bless you. Ah, I nearly had him there.
ellipses. Kinesis clearly took place because there's nowhere else 30 feet high for the birdcage to have fallen from.
I mean, there definitely is, but...
Hold it!
What do you mean?
Well, before the demonstration began, the victim was alive on stage in front of the audience.
Yes. There are lots of witnesses who saw Mr. Assman on the experimentation stage, that's true.
And the victim's neck broke as a result of an impact following a fall. Logically, therefore, the victim must have fallen from somewhere.
The balloon that exploded was at an altitude of 60 feet. The point of impact on the tower was 30 feet up. The difference of 30 feet is therefore the total distance the birdcage fell.
And there's no other location from which the cage could have fallen that distance if it hadn't dropped out of the sky. cogito ergo nam. The victim himself must have been beamed from the stage into the sky above the crystal tower.
A trenchant scientific analysis? Dear me, every time I hear it explained, it sounds increasingly plausible.
Oh yes. It's all very well thought out.
Certainly all the spectators on the day saw it. The birdcage plummeting 33 feet through the air, I mean.
Irritatingly, yes.
Terrible accident, I grant you. Perhaps the science in which the machine was built was somehow flawed.
Hmm.
Hold it!
So you understand, so you understood the science, did you?
Not in the slightest.
What? Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
As I've said a number of times, I'm an engineer. My job is to manufacture according to the blueprints I'm given.
And to screw over technicians, right?
I do screw them, occasionally also stealing money. It would be inviting manifold problems if I foolishly allowed my brain to digest the ideas behind them. I could be accused of stealing those ideas, for example.
But how is it possible to construct a machine without really understanding the principles it relies on? What are you, like an AI artist or something?
I'll take no slander as such. You're practicing law without understanding the principles it relies on, aren't you?
No? Very good point.
Stand up for yourself, Mr. Naruhodo.
Damn, she really said fight back.
The point is, the experiment resulted in instantaneous kinesis taking place. As such, the science must be sound.
Yes, and really, experimental results are all that matters when it comes to proving a hypothesis.
He's certainly very sure of himself.
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
I don't. Well, now that the machine has been completely destroyed by yesterday's explosion, it's going to be impossible to argue its authenticity one way or another.
But if we're unable to establish that it was a piece of stage trickery rather than genuine science, we will have no grounds on which to demonstrate Professor Harebrain's innocence.
Both Mr. Assman and this man in the stand tricked the professor and used him. They took advantage of his naivety and his unbending belief in his work, and I won't let them get away with it. And seeing as the professor is an old friend of Lord Van Zeek's, and what on earth he must be feeling towards Drebber.
I'm at the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't... Yeah, that's what I thought.
Don't Objection! Oh, there you go.
This is a diagram of the experimentation stage and its surroundings.
Ellipses.
We know that somehow the birdcage appeared in midair before falling down into the crystal tower. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters. However, if you examine the diagram carefully, you'll see that there is one other possible location from which the birdcage could have fallen. The same distance of 30 feet.
No.
Yes.
Ellipses.
Well, it appears the defense has a possible explanation to put forward.
Goddamn right I do.
Go ahead, Counsel.
What's going on, Dev? Yes, my lord. Of course.
And you will indicate the place to which you are referring on the doll. I mean, the same diagram. The alternative location for which the birdcage could possibly have fallen the requisite 30 feet.
Right about here. The place I'm referring to is here.
But that's where the birdcage would have been to begin with.
Which is exactly the point, my lord. It's got a trap door. Yes, the birdcage was in the machine on the stage. But what we must also consider is the height of the stage itself.
Go on, Counsel.
It turns out that the experimentation stage was built at a considerable height above ground level. If you look at the diagram, in fact, you'll see it's about the same height above the ground as the balloon was above the crash site. When the experiment got underway, the machine and the birdcage were engulfed in steam. At that moment, the floor of the stage gave way, and if we assume there was to be a void underneath, this birdcage and the one seen by the audience would have fallen almost exactly the same distance. Once again, my lord, this all points to the fact that there was not one birdcage, but two.
Objection!
My learned friend, there's no evidence that the stage had such a contrivance in its design.
Someone is responsible for the criminal destruction of the kinesis machine itself. It's true. However, the stage still stands. And take a moment to look at the photographic print of the scene following yesterday's explosion. That's a hole.
Good Lord! The metal grill that formed the floor of the machine is undone.
Yes. Most likely blown open by the force of the explosion that destroyed the rest of the machine. The defense calls for the space below the stage to be investigated immediately. Excuse you? Do not eat the controller. Mr. Drebber. It was you who built the kinesis machine, which means that it was you who built the two bird cages that were used to carry out this deception. Whether Professor Harebrain's hypothesis is sound or not makes no difference, because it's the construction of this machine that matters, a machine designed to take Mr. Assman's life. And lay the blame firmly at the professor's door, something that could have only been carried out by you, Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Objection!
Wow,
What?
it only made him more extra.
Yep.
If my learned friend has reached the end of his wild assertions, the prosecution would like to crush the defense's arguments slowly, but surely.
What?
Your argument fails to hold water. On 2 counts.
Who?
Firstly, before and after the experiment, this witness went nowhere near the kinesis machine. Every relevant member of the staff from the exhibition has attested to that.
And I believe members of Scotland Yard have also been on watch duty at every public experiment.
In other words, Mr. Drebber had no opportunity to switch the alleged pair of bird cages.
Objection!
But I've already explained why he wouldn't have needed to.
The nonsense with the crossbow? That doesn't bolster your case at all. The man who disappeared from the stage and the man who crashed into the tower are one and the same. The forensic investigation team's report is unequivocal on this point.
Yeah.
And the second flaw in your assertion is a distinct lack of motive. Why would this man have wanted to take the victim's life? He had no reason to do so.
A motive? Do I have to think of everything myself?
I have here a contract provided by the witness.
What contract is this, Lord Van Zeeks?
The contract into which Mr. Drebber entered with the victim, Mr. Assman. It reads,
Poo poo stinky?
precisely. Mr. Drebber is to receive 30% of all big word. That's a big
Remittance,
word.
remunerations.
Remunerations.
Remunerations from government grants or the
I
other
think
income.
there's a typo there.
Remunerations? Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be remunerations, I'm pretty sure.
%? Certainly very favorable contractual conditions.
But there was one very important provision bolted onto that clause.
What provision?
Mr. Drebber may only uphold this right on condition that both contracting parties are alive.
In other words, if either of us were to die, the contract becomes null and void. For you see, I had nothing to gain from Mr. Assman's death. The diametric opposite, in fact. For if I die, I don't get paid.
Need I say more? The witness had neither an opportunity nor a reason to commit an alleged crime. In short, the possibility of Mr. Drebber having done as you suggested is nil.
Ugh. Ugh.
It seems the defense's assertion was somewhat wide of the mark. Lord Van Zeeks, you will submit this contract as evidence.
Drebber's contract has been entered into the court record. It's true. If Drebber had no opportunity to switch the birdcage under the stage with the one in the Crystal Tower, he couldn't have done it. And in any case, I have no idea what his motive might have been.
There is one aspect of your argument that still holds true, however.
Hmm?
There were 2 bird cages. The prosecution is unable to deny that.
Ah,
So I'm sure you're on the right lines, Mr. Naruhodo.
them white lines?
Them blurred lines?
God, that song is so creepy, and so is Robin
It
Thicke.
is. It is.
Ugh.
And I've no doubt there are other aspects of your assertion that are undeniable truths too.
Hmm.
Well, it would seem that the defense has no rejoinder to offer.
Ellipses. Well, I must say I'm a little surprised. I came here to testify about the machine I built and said my reputation is defiled. But the prosecution's counter has set the record straight, I think. It's impossible that I'm the culprit.
Objection!
At the beginning of this trial, we believed that there was only one birdcage. Yet, now, we know there must have been 2. In other words, there was more to the demonstration than we realized at first. I think it's abundantly clear that the same applies to the culprit,
Get to the point.
your mom.
Well said.
The stage demonstration was constructed and set up in its entirety by you, Mr. Drebber. Therefore, it's inconceivable that you had no hand in the events that transpired.
Ellipses.
He mad. So if circumstances mean it's impossible that you could have carried out the crime yourself, it points to the fact that someone else was involved.
Someone else? Counsel, are you suggesting?
Yes, my lord. Mr. Drebber had an accomplice.
Objection!
An accomplice now? Well then, I presume you're prepared for what's to come.
Hopefully me in about 30 minutes. Heyo.
So soon.
Now that you're accusing not only this witness, but someone else of the most serious of crimes.
Speedrunner, Sharky, not a marathon runner.
That's not what I was told.
If these accusations turn out to be false, then make no mistake, the prosecution will demand an equally serious punishment for your slander.
Ooh, I'm shaking. I'm shaking.
Well, counsel, do you intend to pursue this course and formally accuse another party of involvement in this matter?
What do we do here? At the moment, this is a little more than a hunch on my part. I don't know for sure if Drebber had an accomplice, or even if he really is the culprit here.
Ellipses.
One way or another, though, I have to make my position clear. So, what's my stance going to be? Did Drebber have an accomplice, or not? The defense is ready to name Mr. Drebber's accomplice. Somehow, the two bird cages must have been switched. Everything points to that. Yet, according to the coroner's report, that's not a possibility. But that inconsistency itself is a clue.
Counsel?
Oh, my lord.
You have received a stark warning already. If you are nevertheless determined, then I must now ask you to identify this alleged accomplice by name.
What's a fire horse?
So, your answer, please. Who do you claim to have been Mr. Drebber's accomplice?
Well, it's the coroner.
Take that!
I hope. The name of the person in question is...
What's wrong, my Nipponese friend? Surely fear doesn't bind your tongue now. It's a little late for that.
Of course I'm afraid. After all, naming her in this capacity is definitely going to make waves. A lot of waves. I could very well turn every single person in this courtroom against me.
I'm sure it will be alright, Mr. Naruhodo.
Uh-huh, you've said that before. Thank you, Miss Sasato.
The enemy always appears larger than life. He'll appear exactly the same to the enemy.
All right, then. Here goes. We actually just got back from a
You've
really
kept
long
us
trip to
waiting long
Japan.
enough. Your answer, counsel. Now.
The person who colluded with Mr. Drebber in order to carry out this wicked crime is Scotland Yard's coroner, Dr. Mommy Scythe, Courtney Scythe.
What in blazes are you talking about? Dr. Scythe?
The head of the forensic investigation team and the coroner who conducted the autopsy on the victim?
Yeah. I said what I said. We know there were 2 bird cages, so who could have carried out the switch to complete the illusion? The accident happened in front of a huge crowd of spectators, and the area was immediately sealed off. Then everyone, police officers included, were banished to make the way for the forensic investigation team. When else could the switch have occurred? It can only have been in that team's presence.
Ellipses.
It's essential that the court determines exactly what happened following the incident. The defense demands that Dr. Scythe be summoned to the witness stand at once to testify.
Wrong.
Corn, sleep.
You got a nerve, lad. Standing up there, dragging the yard's name through the mud.
Pig says what? I didn't mean to.
I know the woman very well. There's no better dead room walk out there. How dare you call her a criminal?
We're doing all right. How are you?
My learned friend's imagination appears to be wilder than the East End at night.
Ah,
But the recklessness of your accusations aside, there's another grave problem with your argument.
Is the
Like
East
that's
End
mattered.
what you call Naruhodo?
like that's mattered in any of our previous trials.
Gaming.
One, which the prosecution demands you address at once.
A grave problem?
Oh my word.
Who you claim acted as the victim's doppelganger.
Yeah, we had a slightly late dinner too. I made some killer fried rice. What?
Certainly, if the birdcage containing the body of the victim was exchanged for another, the cage must also have contained a body.
And yet, no missing persons or accidental deaths of anyone even remotely resembling the victim have been reported.
Gee, if only there was a subplot during this trial that could explain this.
Yeah, right?
What are you talking about, Lon? That's not true.
Which means there was no one dead or alive who
let's
could
go
have
turkey
fulfilled the role
burgers.
of a body double for Mr. Assman.
Yeah, shit, that's true. If my argument is that there were two bird cages, then there must have also been one person inside each. But I don't know if I've got an answer to this yet. Have I? What can I do to reveal how this body double stunt was achieved?
I've got an idea.
Damn. What about that weird subplot? Very well, the defense will address my learned friend's concerns by presenting evidence that reveals the true nature of Mr. Assman's body double.
Good gracious, evidence? I do hope this isn't filibustering, counsel. The court is expecting a name.
If you think you have relevant evidence, present it now.
Present it. The body double and the birdcage were hiding inside the balloon that was floating above the stage, which means that any witness would only have seen them from 60 feet away. So, who was it that appeared out of that explosion, some 18 meters above the spectators? Ah! The body double inside the second birdcage was...
Take that!
We know that the victim, Mr. Assman, was in the birdcage that was situated inside the kinesis machine on stage. And therefore, he couldn't have been inside the second birdcage. Instead, that contained something else. What's been described as a body double, which is what fell from the sky and crashed into the Crystal Tower.
Yes, counsel, according to your somewhat elaborate version of events.
And that body double inside the second birdcage was, in fact, I have to poop. I'll be right back.
It's alright, Mr. Naruhodo. You can hold it. You're ready for this. Just steel yourself and come out with it.
No, come out with it is exactly what he's trying not to do.
Let that poop fly, Ryunosuke.
Don't let me down, horrible Discord idea.
You know, I was wondering if maybe the whole front page thing this month was gonna mean that we would have to be a classier group of people. And,
You're done. You're done.
No.
You're done. All done.
Well, I just keep a look on the viewer count.
All done.
Thank you, Miss Susato. I needed that. The Imbitey. As I was saying, the body double inside the second birdcage was, as unbelievable as it may seem, that thing there. Back in.
Objection!
Bitey doodle.
Open your eyes and look into mine, my Nipponese friend. Now tell me, what color are your underwear?
Bold of you to assume I'm wearing any?
I see.
Good answer.
True.
What are you playing at?
Stand firm now, Ryunosuke. This is the time to show your Japanese spirit. As the court will observe, this is a waxwork model. A model, in fact, of an infamous London murderer from 10 years ago. The Professor.
Objection!
You started by indicting the leader of the forensic investigation team as an accomplice in this crime. And now you've moved on to indicting waxworks?
Yes, that's about the size of it.
But why? And why this waxwork? It looks nothing like the victim. In fact, it could hardly resemble him less. What possible justification can you give?
Turkey burgers with feta and spinach are the best. If you want to know why, ask Mr. Drebber.
Exclaim.
What?
Just days before Professor Harebrain performed his public demonstration, Mr. Drebber abducted this model from Madame Tuspel's.
Did you say abducted?
And 2 days after the incident at the Great Exhibition, he returned it to the museum. Partially.
Then the timing.
Is this true, Mr. Drebber?
At first, I couldn't see why Mr. Drebber would have stolen the waxwork and then given it back again. But now, the reason is clear. He took it so that he could put it inside the second birdcage as a body double for Mr. Assman.
Just realized from the back there should be like one winged angel playing in the background with this hair I've got.
Yes.
Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Are you hearing the defense's astonishing proposal? That the witnesses fabricated this vast machine with the intention of deceiving somebody with wretched scientists. And he did so in collusion with the country's finest coroner, on a public stage in front of a vast audience. And that, to the effect of the deception, he used a waxwork model that in no way resembles the victim. Are we really to believe this far-fetched tale? What do you decide?
Objection!
Wait. Yes, if you put it like that, of course it sounds implausible. My lord. Oh.
I need to speak, if you please.
Go ahead, Mr. Foreman.
Myself and my colleagues have reached an agreement.
Isn't that like jury tampering?
Very good. In that case, the defense will call for summation examination.
You guessed it.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, will you state your leanings for the court to hear and the defense to ignore?
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Kill me!
What?
Why did it explode?
So, as indicated by the foreman, the jury has reached a consensus.
I knew that was going to happen.
We shall get through this, Mr. Naruhodo, as we always do. And uncover some new truths along the way, I'm quite sure.
Yeah, I agree. It's not the first time doing this. I'm going to have to appeal to the jurors as usual and see if I can persuade them to change their minds.
The defense will now embark on a summation examination.
Oh, I didn't even
I
have
know
to.
them.
I didn't have to ask for it this time.
Are you and your fellows ready to proceed, Mr. Foreman?
We are, my lord.
Very well. In that case, I ask you now to state clearly for all present to hear the grounds on which each of you has decided that the defendant is guilty of the crime of which he is charged. The juror's contention.
I've known that woman for years. She'd never be an accomplished to anything.
It's utter nonsense to think those two would ever be conniving with each other.
Oh dear, this is most troubling, but surely the waxwork the man stole is nothing to do with the coroner, is it?
I have had my own problems with members of the police. I do not trust them much.
He's a real one.
Yeah?
I've seen no rigorous proof that this waxwork was ever inside the birdcage. It's conjecture.
He doesn't know that rat evidence is.
Yeah,
He's
that's
not a proper
Sharky.
job, is he? I won't have it.
Didn't even eat your corn.
True.
Somewhat unsurprisingly, it seems the introduction of this waxwork model to the proceedings has polarized opinion.
Given that its face is obscured and its blind and build in no way resembles that of the victim,
How's it going, Aim? Been taking care of yourself?
I can only applaud my lord and friend's
Tamari?
Temerity.
Why couldn't they just use tenacity? At suggestion, it was Mr. Assman's body double.
That's a great question. Yes, the applause is deafening. And yes, I know it seems extraordinary. That's the point. That's why I have a strong feeling it's actually a greater clue than anyone yet realizes.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
Do you really want the answer to that, Miss Susato?
Perhaps.
I can't explain why at the moment, but I feel as though there's a specific reason why it was used. Why it had to be this model.
Really? A reason why nothing else would do, you mean?
Yeah, and I'm convinced it's something far more significant than whether or not the model looked like the victim.
Well, if that's the case, we must prevent this trial from ending prematurely at all costs.
Yes, agreed. Doing the best is the best we can do. I have to find a way out of this.
If you are ready, counsel, you may proceed with the Summation Examination.
Yes, my lord.
I've known that woman for years. She'd never be an accomplice to anything.
I don't want to talk to you.
It's utter nonsense to think those two would ever be conniving with one another.
You're not paying attention.
Oh dear, this is most troubling, but surely the waxwork the man stole is nothing to do with the coroner, is it?
This is my guy.
I've had my own problems with the members of the police. I do not trust them much.
Hold it!
What sort of problems?
Let's just say we have run into each other on numerous occasions while I've been performing on the street.
Right, I see.
Streetwalker.
Obviously, artists such as myself cannot appear on stage as we work in close proximity to our audiences. So we perform our great magic in parks, on the street, corners, and the like. But the police use any excuse to make our lives difficult.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say in response to that, Mr. Ottermole?
Who are you calling a mass murderer?
What?
Waving your gun, bro.
Yeah. Ah, sorry, my mistake. I got confused because I heard you look like him.
I do not look like anything like the man. You want to be locked up, Sonny.
Thanks, Mr. Sholmes. Perhaps we could move on. I was really wondering if you had something you wanted to add in response to what juror number 3 just said. He called you a pig. And clearly you do. Could you maybe not do that in the courtroom?
Or at all.
Back in my day. Good old days.
Oh boy.
It wasn't like this.
What was it like, sir?
We worked our fingers to the bone to earn the public's trust, we did.
Okay. And why don't they trust you now?
Because we are police officers, of course. By Jove, we earned it. People respected us back then.
Respected you?
No one could have called a coroner into question in them days. Coroner's report was a hallmark of an investigation done right. especially when Dr. Courtney Stevens put her name to it.
Stevens.
She was the best of the best.
Just see me.
Well, CB. Now, hold on a minute. What are you talking about? Who's Courtney Stevens?
Ah, sorry. Got a bit carried away there.
Stevens is Dr. Scythe's maiden name.
Her maiden name? So that was before she was married. Okay, something I'll never be. Anyway.
Of course, yes, silly me. It's Scythe now, isn't it?
Stevens. I'm sure I've seen that name somewhere recently.
Anyway, the point is, those were the great days of policing. Not like now.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. But do you think you could change your statement to include that name?
Well, yes, I don't see why not. She was Courtney Stevens back then when I knew her, of course. Legendary coroner, even then.
That's what you think.
Objection!
These two statements clearly contradict each other in a way I'll explain when everyone asks me to.
How about
Good
now?
gracious, to whose statements do you refer, counsel?
So, juror number 2.
Oh, gosh, me? What can I do for you?
I presume that you heard what juror 6 said in his statement? It's brought to light the maiden name of the coroner, Dr. Scythe, which in turn has revealed a connection that wasn't apparent before.
Well, naturally, as a woman of society, I find such connections and relationships irresistible. But oh golly, I'm afraid I failed
Nah, it's
to
up
see
all the
what you
time.
mean.
Like when you have the opportunity to use it or lose it. Dr. Scythe's maiden name is Stevens. And through that name, the coroner is very definitely linked to the waxwork of the killer. The defense has evidence to prove it.
My goodness, evidence, you say? Utterly enthralling.
Counsel, the court cannot overlook this last remark. I very much hope there is substance to your claim.
Of course, my lord. I would ask the court to look at this. The evidence that clearly links Dr. Scythe to the mass murderer known as the Professor. Ta-da!
Take that!
That was a gimme. Stevens wasn't mentioned in any other pieces of evidence. I had to guess. I have here a certain autopsy report from 10 years ago.
A 10-year-old autopsy report? What relevance does that have?
It is, of course, from the autopsy of the person portrayed in the waxwork, the killer known as the Professor.
The Professor? But that man was a capital offender, so...
That's right. This is a certification of death that was drawn up after the convict's execution. The identity of the killer was never made public, so the report gives few details. But what's important is the name of the coroner who wrote it. Courtney Stevens.
Oh my, Courtney Stevens?
Strike a light.
It appears that the professor's autopsy was conducted by Dr. Scythe 10 years ago. And a few days ago, Mr. Drebber very deliberately stole the waxwork of the professor from Madame Tuspel's. A waxwork that doesn't in fact resemble the victim, Mr. Assman, at all.
And do you suppose there's some unsavory relationship between those events?
Absolutely, I'm sure of it. There's no doubt in my mind that the professor case is at the heart of a link that we have yet to uncover between Dr. Courtney Scythe and Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Hidden links, mysterious connections, secret relationships. This is all most extraordinary. We're surely obliged now to explore this further.
Quite right. We can't let this trial come to an end now. Not while there's this cloud of suspicion hanging over the odds best coroner. It wasn't like this in my day, but we're still here to uphold justice at the end.
All right, that one's done. Oh good, I get to talk to myself for a little bit. Great. But you claim the whole instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a trick.
That I did. But there's more than one way to pull a rabbit out of a hat, isn't there?
I'm sorry?
I grant you, given that this cage appeared from amidst an explosion, there'd have been no need to use a real person. But if a waxwork was used, the culprit could at least have had the decency to make it look like the victim.
I'm not sure exactly how much criminals are governed by decency.
Well, the point is, if you're going to make a claim about that waxwork being inside the birdcage, you need to give us some evidence. Without that, it's just not science.
I suppose we should expect nothing less than a logical argument from a fellow with the Royal Society.
Oh, we do have evidence.
But that perhaps means his mind can be changed if we manage to present suitable evidence.
Evidence? Evidence that the Professor Waxwork was inside that birdcage. Can I produce that or not? Darn tootin'. Actually, I have something I'd like you to see, sir.
Oh? I must warn you that I firmly believe it's only wise to trust men in white coats. So given your jet black outfit, I don't mind admitting to a sense of trepidation here.
You're wearing a black coat as well, but you know what, whatever. So you don't trust anyone in black? Looking in the mirror must be very trying. I do have some evidence that proves the waxworks was inside the birdcage. Namely, that large hunk of glass that we pulled out of the waxwork.
Take that!
What's that? A piece of glass? Though it's unusually thick for glass.
Yeah, it's a piece of broken glass that we found inside the jacket on the waxwork. As you say, it's not ordinary glass though. It's very thick and clearly made for extra strength. Much like the special glass that was developed for the construction of the Crystal Tower.
Holy smoke!
Exactly, the centerpiece of the Great Exhibition, where the very incident we're talking about took place. On the day in question, the birdcage fell from above and smashed through a window of that special glass.
From whence this small piece originated, is that it?
Precisely. So, what do you say? Now that clear evidence in support of the assertion has been placed before you.
Well, as I said, I only trust men in white coats as a rule. However, when the reasoning is sound, it's fair to say color shouldn't come into it. In light of what you've shown me here, yes, I feel obliged to change my position on the matter.
In that case, juror number 4, you will amend your statement now, please.
Yep, all right. We've got evidence she's coming with.
Objection!
There we go. Those two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious, to whose statements do you refer, counsel?
If you could put down your corn for a moment, juror number 5.
No. Oh, you mean me?
You've pointed out that it's wrong to make an accusation without evidence. But the accusation that the waxwork model was inside the second birdcage on the day in question is not without supporting evidence, as the defense demonstrated to the juror sitting beside you.
Oh, is that right?
Would it be fair to say you didn't follow the argument?
I don't understand much besides Colonel Cobb, to be honest.
Of course you don't.
If I could interject here.
Please do, sir.
Now that this assertion of yours about the waxwork has been backed up by some solid evidence, it would be wrong of me as a man of science not to pursue the matter further.
Well, me too then.
Sorry?
If this brainy gentleman says he's right, then he must be. See, I wouldn't dream against going against Colonel Cobb or anyone who's got stuff in between the ears.
Where are you from, child?
I think the American South?
Wales? Success!
Honestly, let's just say Wales, because anybody can be from Wales.
True. If you can call it that.
Well,
Lon?
Thank you, counsel. That will do.
Indeed it will. It's time to call it a night. GG, everybody.
Good game, fam.
Yeah.
Let's
See
see
if I can get
can remember next week that I'm the judge.
See if I can get us back to some music. Nice. There we go. All right. Well, GGWP. Good job, everybody. Let's extraduce ourselves here. We'll take it counterclockwise. Starting alphabetically by descending height. So that'll be Shy.
Yay, I'm first. Hi, I am Shy. I'm an Ninja Girl. I play games. I stream games. Mostly Final Fantasy XIV. Stardew Valley, and Battle Chef Brigade, with occasional forays into other things. My channel also hosts voice acting for various visual novels on Saturdays. Coming up this week, we've got some we've got the ending of our ARR segment of our Final Fantasy XIV Do Everything run. We've got some Stardew Valley, maybe some Battle Chef if I can find some time. And yeah, hopefully more coming.
Excellent. Speaking of Wayne's World, Lil Sharky.
Look at me, I'm a man, I'm 40.
As a famous college football coach once said, "Hey folks, I'm 40, and while I have not been coming this whole time, I am happy to get to spend this evening with you. So always be kind to each other. Tell the people you love just how you feel, because next week's stream might not be in time. So Thanks for hanging out, everybody, and y'all have a wonderful night.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Oni Hart's character being beat across the screen. It's Oni Hart.
Whoa.
Whoa. Better get them cross-ups.
Yeah, it's me, Oni Hart. Yeah, it's just Omega Strikers and Street Fighter 6. In case anybody's wondering which character I'm playing in Street Fighter 6, it is Manon.
Uh-huh.
Is that one with Big Tip?
No.
Is it the really tall, big muscle mommy Oni?
No, that's Marisa. I don't play her, no.
Ah, I couldn't hear. I was just guessing anyway.
I play the ballerina chick. The judo
Yeah, that sounds
ballerina. It's like my first grappler that I'm maining, but you know what? It's fine because she's cool.
Yeah, she's cool.
Aside from that, it's just gonna be all Final Fantasy 16 once that comes out. And let me see anything. You know, I was gonna try and hold a giveaway for it, but it's only on PlayStation right now, so it's like I can't gift that shit to nobody. So I was kind of upset about that one.
Yeah, it's a bit wild. I don't know if I'll be able to. I'm probably gonna end up pre-ordering a copy in a day or two here, and then if I get my hands on a release copy, well, someone else is gonna get it. So there's that. Cool. I'm gonna make you speedrun 16.
I might.
I bet. Now, with clothes, Lani Ikea. What the hell?
I can't even argue that. That's fair. Hi, I'm Lani Ikea. I'm wearing clothing right now.
I'm sorry.
I know, right? Damn Twitch TOS. I stream usually RPGs. I've got a sponsored stream coming up near the end of the week for Mask of the Rose by Fail Better Games. Absolutely an excellent company if you like gaslight fantasy horror. So yeah, check that out. Wishlisted on Steam because I'm good at giving promos for people who give me sponsorships.
Yeah, I don't want to work either.
And also, I do things like Hong Kong Railstar and voice act also with Shy, and not just here. And so yeah, that's me. Hi.
Yeah. Professional Discord soundboard enthusiast, Chris Rees.
Hi, my name is Chris Rees. I lead the raid group Blitz in Final Fantasy XIV. Recently, I've been doing a lot of DDO Hardcore League. It's a lot of fun and incredibly stressful. And I'm not going to see you fuckers for a month.
Oh yeah, you're out.
For a month?
Yeah. No, I mean like when do you leave?
Monday, right before V.
That's what I figured. Well, have a safe flight. It'll be a good
fucked
time.
with our flights, so I could not attend next Monday, and I am displeased.
It is what
But
it is.
it's still like getting to go away for a while, and for that, and your love of Discord soundboards, I think you should.
Rejoice!
I can't hear it. You can hit whatever button you want, and I don't have to hear it. This is fantastic. I love it. Chat has to hear it, and I don't.
I was disappointed in that one.
You were.
I was
I
disappointed.
was just impressed by the vocal filter you put on your microphone there.
Can I play sounds, and then everybody else has to hear it? And I
Probably.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, I don't have to hear it. This is great.
I can't wait for
lighting us
all of the
up.
copyright claims on this one.
Oh, chat can't hear it. You're just torturing us.
Really? Chat can't hear it?
Oh, that's
They
crazy.
certainly could.
That's interesting. Well, today we learned something. Oh, it changes your thing too, I just noticed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you all for joining us. I'm going to go call it a night. Y'all are terrific. I'm going to do my thing.
You're very kind when you're lying. Thank you.
All right, friendos. If you enjoyed tonight, I hope you did. We'll be back at it tomorrow. We'll do some glitch lists. We'll do some Frost. Come join us in the Discord. If you haven't subbed to the YouTube, great place to catch up on everything. Check out our friends at SkyTech. If you're a tea drinker, grab some tea. Proceeds benefiting the Trevor Project. Happy Pride Month. And if you want to support the stinkiest catboy on Twitch, check out the Throne Wishlist. But yeah, don't forget to vote in the cooking streams if you're subbed or have given gifts. But yeah, we'll call it here. Let's go find someone to raid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You know, I came to beef one fella. He went home in a black bin bag. Thought he could dodge these hands. Head got spun like a ceiling fan.